All right, it's no surprise that I am a huge fan of Kadence and I've been using advanced custom fields for many, many years. And one of the things that I have found recently is the query loop, the advanced query loop from Kadence, and using that along with the power of advanced custom fields and combining them together can really let you do some great stuff without even writing a line of code. So in this video, I'm going to show you how we're going to do that and how easy it is for you to do that. So let's move this out of the way here and let's jump into the dashboard. So the first thing I want to do is I want to show you what plugins that I have activated right now. So I have Advanced Custom Fields Pro, but really you don't need the Pro for what we're going to be doing. All I've really done is created a couple of post types and some additional data sets for those. And so then I do have the Kadence Blocks Pro, the page builder, and then the premium add-on, the Kadence Pro. So I believe you will need the Kadence Pro to do what we're going to do in this particular video, but if you're here and you're using the advanced query loop, I'm assuming that you're kind of all in with Kadence just like I am. So let's go take a look at ACF and what we have set up. So first I'm going to take a look at our post type, where you can see that I've created a post type called employees, and there's absolutely nothing fancy about this one. It's just not even using the advanced configuration. I've just created a post type called employees. And then if we take a look at the field groups, you can see that I've created some additional details. Now, obviously, you can add whatever the heck you want in here, but for this, I kept it pretty simple. So we're going to make a grid that has all of our employees on it, and we're going to show the year that they started and the link off to their LinkedIn page, or in this case, their Wikipedia page. So let's go over to our post type first. So here's our employees. So you can see we have a handful of employees here that work for us. And now what we want to do is we want to build them into a page and put a grid of them on our page. So here's our team page. And I'm going to go ahead and start by adding a row that is going to have a single element. And inside that element, we are going to search for, it happens to be here on our screen, but if not, you could have just typed query loop. And if you do type query loop, you do want to make sure that you pick the query loop advanced. And so when you come up with this, the first thing you're going to notice that there are none already in here. So we're going to go ahead and create a new one. If you've already created some, they'll be in a list, and you'd be able to select one from the list if you already had a loop that you'd created. And on this page, when you're creating a new one, you can decide whether or not you want one with no filters, or if you have taxonomies and want to use filters. And then you can see that there's also some fancier ones where you could have drop-down select fields and things like that. So we're actually going to use a no filter one for this. We're going to just keep it simple. And right here is a very important step. Give your loop a name so that you know what it is later, especially if you start creating multiples. So I'm going to just call this all employees, and I don't want to use the posts. I'm going to get rid of that, and instead I'm going to select our custom post type called employees, the one that we created with ACF. And I'm going to go ahead and create that. And now it's going to say, which query loop card do we want to use? And again, we haven't created any yet. So if we had, you'd be able to select it from the list. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and create a brand new one. And in here, you also get another option for if you want just a large image with some text over it. Here's a simple one. This is more like a blog, and then this is more like a little card if you had a bunch of additional information. For us, I'm going to go ahead and use this simple one here. And up here, I'm going to give this a name and create. So we're immediately going to see our grid, and on our grid you can see that we've got the featured image, the post title, and it's looking for an excerpt, and then there's a link off to read more if we wanted to use that as well. So first thing we'll do is hop open the document overview, and then you can see here's our row layout, and we'll start by taking a look at the query loop itself. Move this out of the way. And so from here, this is going to be very familiar to you if you've already been using Kadence for a while. So once you select this, all of your features, all of your settings are going to be over here down the right hand side. So you can this is really something that you're going to want to just play with and get used to messing around with. So obviously we can make changes to the query loop here. If we wanted a different post type, we could choose that. If we had a taxonomy, we'd be able to select it from the list here. And so in here, you could really refine the query that is actually displaying what is here. So let's say that I wanted to do an offset of 1. You'd see that the first one in the list gets removed. Or if we only wanted to show, the top 3, something like that. So a lot of different options for what you can do here. And then you can also do some styling for how you want them to load. All of the different styles, the visual styles that you would expect to see here. And then if we go back to the top under advanced, you've got all of your paddings and margins and things like that. So that is for the query loop on the outside. And then if we take a look at the query card, we can pop this open, and now everything inside of this query card is going to, again, be right over here. So our options for styling them, how many columns we want, things like that, are all going to be here on the general. And if we hop over to style, you'll see again like all of the standards for the card, and then for the advanced as well. But what's nice about this is inside of this query card, this is just like any other Kadence container. We can put whatever we want into here. So you'll see we have the query card, the image is at the top. So and you can see that this is actually using the dynamic image to pull in the featured image. It did that for us automatically. We can change the size and things like that. I'm not going to worry about that in this particular video. We're not going to worry about the styling too terribly much. I'm more interested in how we get to the data. And then over here in our section, down here, you can see that we have the dynamic post title and then the excerpt. So the first thing that I'm going to do, we don't want this excerpt, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. And then in its place, I want to start adding our custom features that we added through advanced custom fields that are already connected. So if I click into the plus, I'm going to keep this very, very simple. Actually, what I'll do is I will make a side-by-side box, and in our first box, we're going to say since. So we're going to figure out when our employee joined us, and then we're going to add a new block. And so in this block, I'm going to add a paragraph text, but instead of typing something in, I'm going to go right up to the top here and choose the dynamic content. And once you choose the dynamic content, you can choose what type of content you want. And I will tell you that when you're using the dynamic content, based on the type of element that you're using, the list is going to be a little bit different. So in this particular one, you can see that we don't see our specific fields in here, which is fine. But what we'll do here is we will go to the post custom field. And then the source content is going to be from the current post, which is going to be, in this particular case, Holly Flax. And then we're going to select our custom field, and we're going to click the custom input. And what we need to do here is we need to type in the custom meta key. So what we'll do is I'm going to open this into a new window. I'm going to go back to our field groups and click in here. And you can see that we have the 2 different ones, and these are the names. So I'm going to click on the copy. I'm going to switch back to our other tab. Click dynamic content. And in the custom meta key, I'm going to just paste this in here. Under advanced, if you wanted any fallback content, you could type that in. So if you wanted whatever you wanted to add for some fallback content, just in case. All of ours have data, so we won't need to be worrying about that. And if you wanted this to be a repeater context, which I'm not going to get into in this particular video, but we'll go ahead and click on Add Content, Dynamic Content. So you can see that by default it is showing the beginning of time, which is absolutely fine. And then what we're going to do is let's add our link off to their LinkedIn page, or in this case their Wikipedia page. So again, we're going to go and click on the plus here to add a new block, and I am going to use the icon. And for this icon, I'm going to go ahead and look for the LinkedIn. I'm going to use the solid one. And then if we come down here to where the link is, this is where we have the opportunity again to choose the dynamic content. So we're going to choose the dynamic link. We're going to enable it. And in this one, when we choose post custom field, you'll see that in this one it is a little bit different in that, let me scroll this up a little bit. Nope. In this one, you will see it's going right off screen, so it's making it a little difficult, but it is showing us our different employee details. So I'm going to, wow, that is just some bad location for screen size. So I'm going to click on Wikipedia page, and now that that is linked up, I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And it's going to ask us if we want to save our page, our query, and our query card, and the answer to that is yes. And now if we open our page, we'll open this into a new window here. And we only have one. Why do we only have one? I've made a mistake somewhere along the way. Post per page is set to 1. Well, that'll do it. I'm going to go ahead and set this to none. Or apparently I need to set this to a specific number. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll set 20 for now. And I'll hit save again. And if we go back to our team page, here we go. So as you can see, we've got our image, our title, and then our content for each of our users as to when they started. And then if I were to click on this page, it'll take us straight to the Wikipedia page. Now let's go into the back end again, and I want to show you, let's say later on you come back and you want to edit those pages independently. You don't need to go to the team page to make these edits. Underneath Kadence, you'll see two items down here. One is called queries, and if we look at that, you'll see our all employees query. So if we click on this, we can edit the query directly here. Again, we're going to click on this, and then we have access to all of our settings down the right hand side. And if we want to edit the particular card, we can do that here. Where in here we would just be editing the specific card and any content we wanted to. So now we can go in and style our button and style our other content that we've added to the page. So as you can see, adding the team page is a pretty simple process for you with using the query loop. As much as I love writing code, being able to do this without writing code is pretty exciting. If you have any questions about the process, please let me know. Leave a comment below, and have a great day.